Hey guys, what's going on? Hey Cyclone, what's going on? Um, uh, I thought I would just do this little impromptu stream and put it up on the channel. I know I haven't done much in a while, and that's kind of because I'm taking a step back from doing video stuff. You know, I've maybe I could just say I've gotten a little stale of doing content creation. Um, it's not that I don't appreciate trying to provide some content for people here and there, but I don't do this for a career. And it's it's when I feel inspired, and I feel like those days have been like a little more, or excuse me, I should say a little less common. With the Hunter x Hunter stuff on hiatus, I always kind of like that's the one thing I always say, like I will try to do content around that when it's relevant, but it's not going to be relevant for it could be a year. And I don't know what the outlook is. Like I don't really game the way I used to. My recreational time is a lot lower these days. I have adult things in life. I got things to do. Um, so I'm just like, I'm putting this out there to be like, this is kind of going to be a ghost town compared to the last 6 months where Hunter x Hunter was more prevalent. And, you know, I, I understand some people are upset by that, but I'd rather just tell it like it is and get that out there. I have a lot of content over the years. There's things out there. I didn't take YouTube that seriously, but maybe there's something fun that you can find in the archives as I'm not uploading like I used to. And like once in a while, I might do a Grim Dawn video. Like the other, I just like posting Grim Dawn once in a while, and that's great. I love Grim Dawn. So I will find pockets here and there where I might upload a Grim Dawn stream. I don't foresee myself really doing a ton of discussions or live streams in the near future. It's Marvel Snap is a new game I am playing, and I've considered maybe doing the PC version, maybe doing some gameplay of it. The game is kind of like a fast, like I kind of treat it on the casual side. I just started like not even a month ago. So I'm still a fresh player. I just got to pool 3. If you don't know anything about Marvel Snap, go look it up. I do think it's a very solid mobile game for what it is. I'm not saying it's the best game ever made. I'm saying for what it delivers and the package it delivers, it's reasonable. Yes, it is paid to advance. There is a pay to advance element. If you're playing free to play strictly, it takes you like 10 times longer to rank up. There is a paid element to ranking up. The question is, does ranking up matter to you? And if you're just doing game by game and playing your favorite cards and finding some fun things to do, does it matter that you don't have the end all be all cards in the game? I mean, it might deter some people, but if you're not like really paying for progress, who gives a shit? Anyway, that's so Marvel Snap and Grim Dawn. I think if I had to say for the channel, look out for those two topics, those two types of videos. Perhaps I'm still debating Marvel Snap, but it might happen. Luna Vega. This is a very awesome beer, guys. This is a collab between Equilibrium and J. Wakefield. You can see J. Wakefield's logo there. I love both of these breweries. J. Wakefield's out in Miami. They're a fabulous brewer. Probably the best brewery in Florida. Some people are going to say Cigar City is like, I think J. Wakefield's more of the craft elitism sort of thing. Like they make the really good neighborhood shit, like the really good local scene beer. Can't take that for granted. I love how there's the comb as well. This is a fantastic logo. Like I will say this is a top tier logo. They got the Spaceballs license on their beer. It's pretty awesome. So Spaceballs, great Mel Brooks parody of Star Wars. Now, get this bad boy open. I've had this beer already. This is my last can. I thought I would celebrate my last can of it by reviewing it for you all. I do think this is a delicious beer, but I want to review it properly, give a breakdown of it, and if I think you should purchase it. It's not cheap. It's $22 for a 4-pack. It's a quality product. It is 8 hang on. It's just above 2 months old in this can, which is not bad for an 8.7% IPA. 8.7. So it's a fairly big double IPA. It's I'd say anything above 8, you're in a heavier realm. It's a good sized beer. It's a hefty beer. So I'm going to get all of it in here just a minute. I'll show you the final product. I'll tell you what this beer is, because you might not, I just said double IPA, but I'll tell you more specifically. This is a Creamsicle double IPA. Creamsicle double IPA. Does that look delicious or what? It is a glass of juice, and it's a really tasty beer. Now, Creamsicle IPAs, they use lactose and, in this case, vanilla to really sweeten up the profile. You're going to get that creamsicle orange dessert sort of thing, and it changes what the double IPA experience tastes like. And you get that, you get a mix of candied oranges and a little bit of that lactose sweetness. Definitely up front. I think of an orange meringue as well. A little bit perhaps of grapefruit, a little bit, and a little bit maybe of peach. But with these types of beers, they're usually, do they tell you the hops? And maybe they do online. I don't know if they tell you the hops on here, but they do not tell you the hops on the can, but Citra is going to be a very common one in a beer like this, because Citra has a very vibrant orange taste in a lot of cases. Clementine, grapefruit, orange. So when you amp that up with sweetness, lactose, vanilla, and other profiles, you can replicate a creamsicle. It's really tasty. Well, this beer does very nicely, and I don't have this style frequently. I've had a couple. I'm not typically a huge fan of these, but this one has a very nice pine and kind of pithy grapefruit experience blended into this very sweet vanilla-y creamy thing. What happens is it balances the experience out more so that it's not just a sweet kind of malty mess. It's an IPA with elements of dessert quality. And I think when you're making a dessert IPA, it's the balance is, I think these are some of the hardest beers to get right. Personally, dessert IPA, sweet and hop, you can easily lean too far one way or the other. You're doing extreme hoppiness, vibrancy, or extreme sweetness and sometimes a maltier. But this beer captures a very nice backbone of pine, spice, and grapefruit, peels. It's very... I like how it balances out the sweetness. Now, not everybody does. There's almost this, almost an oniony, there's almost a slight oniony quality to the base IPA here that counters the vanilla. I know that sounds like a very weird combination, but if you think of caramelized onions, you might explain it there's a slight caramelized onion thing in here. It's that sweet tanginess. and the back is a little more citrus bitter. So the middle, it's like you took an orange creamsicle center, but you surround the hell out of it with hops and kind of oniony and those sorts of things. So you're getting, I'd say, this leans tropical hoppy with elements of sweetness showing up. Whereas some people, they may want this to be all sweet forward and a hint of hoppiness. Because it's an IPA, I tend to find myself liking this type more, where it goes IPA before sweetness. Like, I'm getting a great IPA here. The body is smooth. There's no alcohol at almost 9%. It has a great aroma. And then when you drink it, it's more IPA focused. There's some sweetness, like making it different, right? So if I were to review this, I love that the lactose and the vanilla have a baseline. The bottom of this beer, the base of it, is creamy, lactosey creamsicle, vanilla. The top of it is super hoppy, somewhat green double IPA. So it's a contrast of flavor, but I love hoppy beer, so I kind of like what this does. It doesn't let the malt take up too much room in the profile, and that's what I appreciate. When I never like IPA to have too much malt in it. There's a reason I buy IPA. It's to not have a malty mess. And so when you hop the hell out of something, especially a big double IPA, which more hops go into it, just to make sure they say it's a double IPA. They do not mention dry hopping, but it actually tastes like there's dry hopping in here. It's that really strong, piney bite that you get with dry hopping. I would be shocked if this didn't have dry hopping. If they use lupulin powder, maybe some sort of bittering powder, but it's like you get that profile. So I'm going to leave it at this. I think on my scale, I don't love this style typically. I've had a couple and I just felt like the hops were lacking. This one goes like the totally other side. Like the hops are crazy strong, but it has this nice calming vanilla lactose bottom to it, which adds a sweet portion to it. So I really enjoy it. I think I'd give this like a 98. I think I was saying that before. Like the hops are off the charts. They're very hoppy, very strong. J. Wakefield, I've had a couple of their beers. And I noticed that when they feature more bitter profiles, they amp up the hoppiness quite a bit. Like I feel like their beers tend to go to the hoppier side of life. The IBUs go up a little bit. I feel like this has a slightly higher IBU than maybe some other brewers would have taken it. But I kind of like that because it's like spicy and sweet together. It's a similar effect to like, you ever had chocolate and pepper, which is actually a delicacy in certain places. Actually, I think in Tennessee, it's pretty popular, chocolate and candied pepper, as an example. I went there once and they had chocolate cake with candied peppers on it. And I'm like, candied peppers and chocolate? And I got it, and I was like, it's candied peppers and chocolate. Like there's something that works here. I'm like, okay. That's what I feel with this. It works. It's not, I don't think it's quite a 10 because of the lactose, right? It's a really good beer. But I feel like the citrus profile that's here might be a little simple because they're going for a creamsicle. when I have beers that have more complex profiles and aromas, I get a little. This is a little bit one dimensional when you're looking at the grand scheme because it's a creamsicle IPA. So that's what that might be why I don't always love this style. It's a little more one dimensional, straightforward orange, clementine, grapefruit thing with a lot of sweetness. But this is I like how the bitterness sticks with you after you've had a little bit of sweetness. I dig it. It's only getting a 4.2 online, and I think that's a crime. I think this is a 4.5, 4.4, 4.5. It's a 4.2. Nah. This is probably, again, I think some people come into a beer like this and they think it's going to be this wonderful, sweet, delectable, like candied sort of thing, and it's an actual IPA, and they're like, it's too bitter for me. Oh no, it's an 8.7%. It's big. This is a big beer. So if you're not used to it, you're not expecting a double IPA, you're going to be surprised by this. But this is a real double IPA. And I love the hops are still there. This reminds me of the Trilliums that used to stick on your tongue for like 40 minutes. Like I still taste the hops. I get this slightly orangey peel and lasting hops on the beer. It's a very good beer. It's just like the style thing. I think it makes it a little too one-dimensional for me. There it is. But it's probably one of the best of the style that I've ever had. So I thought it was worth a review. And again, $22 where I am. It's a bigger beer. It's a good beer. I think it's worth the price. If you want a double IPA with some sweetness on it, it's very good. But it's a real double IPA. You're going to get that big, piney, hoppy bite to it. So just be prepared for that. And that's it. So again, thanks for sticking by. If you checked out this update, Grim Dawn and Marvel Snap possibly, but my content flow is definitely going slower these days. I'm not like disappearing forever, but I will be. You want to call it vacation mode? Is that kind of like a little bit more vacation mode from YouTube? I feel like it's reasonable to state that right now. And if I get a urge to upload or an urge to do something, I will. So in the meantime, maybe there's a video I made from the past, this is going to be crazy to say, 15 years on this channel. 15 years, guys, on this channel. I actually had a channel that was even older, and I stopped. I was in high school. I started YouTube like a year after it came out, and I loved how the platform, you could just upload shit. I just liked that. I found that appealing, and there were lots of phases I went through with YouTube, but I never made it a job. I never made money doing it. I don't want to make money doing it. That's not my point. It's a hobby. And if anybody sees this, it's like, I appreciate you stopping by. I am not looking for engagement metrics or like, I'm not saying like the video and all that shit. It's not my job. If you like this, I'm thrilled you did. And if you didn't like it, that's great. It's okay with me. I don't take anything personally, right? It's online bullshit. But this is not a bullshit beer. This is a great beer. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for stopping by. And I'll be around just generally, stay tuned, periodically. You might see something new.